Hey friends, this is Julie. I am excited to be here on the Not Too Shabby channel today. I'm going to be sharing a little inspiration with the January box of the month, and I'll be using the Raining Books and Boots collection. We're going to be making this card with a collage of ephemera, and I'll talk about a few little design tips as I go along. So I've pulled out my favorite print from the Raining Boots and Books collection. And I just love this print with the nice earthy colors and just a little bit of texture to that. So I'm going to make that the background of my card. I'm going to use quite a bit of white space for me. So I'm going to cut my panel down to 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then I've got a 3.75 by 5 piece of white cardstock that I'm going to mat that on. So when I work with ephemera, I like to work with usually a group of 3. I kind of make a visual triangle with a smaller, kind of a medium, and a taller image. So I've picked the umbrella, the girl, and the books, and that triangle is just drawing your eye to the sentiment, which is going to complete that triangle. I used the One and Done sentiments die with a sentiment from one of the stamps in the kit, and then to make an easy little backdrop for that, I just cut another one, used some direct paper with a rainforest ink, and am snipping the ends to just add a little bit of a border to the ends. Give that a little contrast when it sets against the white mats on the card so that it really pops. And then I'm going to place the remaining part of that banner in the center so that it keeps everything level. Now I'm going to distress the edges of my pattern paper, and I just absolutely love to add a little distressing. That's one of my favorite things to do. I'm using a distressing tool, but you can easily use just a pair of scissors and just kind of rough it up. You just want to be careful as you're doing it, depending on how thick your paper is. And now I'm just using my fingers to add a little extra roughing up of things. And when you're distressing, you definitely want to make sure that not everything is uniform. When things age, they don't age the same way. So sometimes I curl a corner down here or there. Sometimes I go in deeper with a tear on one side, but not on the other. I just try to make it look different all the way around. So now I'm just going to adhere that down to the white mat, and then I'm going to use my fingers to pick up those edges just a little bit more and make things look a little more aged. Now it's time to audition the pieces again, and I'm trying to decide where I want to glue down that umbrella. So I'm just going to glue that down, and then I'm going to just place these pieces. Aren't they beautiful? I love to read. I'd love to hear some suggestions if you want to leave in the comments. Book suggestions. I absolutely love to read like all sorts of things. So, you know, whatever genre, I'll read most of it, except I don't really like romance very much, but pretty much everything else is fair game. So I am just going to I'm just adding some paper behind just to give that a little lift without using a dimensional foam. And so the girl is going to pop up just a little bit. And I'm trying to move that. I decided I wanted that book in just a little different spot. I think I put the umbrella a little lower than I had originally planned. So now, and since I already glued it down, we're just going to have to work with it. So I removed that book and put it back where I wanted it. And now we're sticking the girl down, and then we're going to grab our sentiment. The umbrella's up, books open, and we are going to just glue that down. And now I decided that I wanted more of a uniform look with the aged edges. So I'm going to do that on the mat as well. And here I'm going to go a little deeper in and do some of those tears and curl in some corners. If you have problems with curling corners, you can just spritz a little water on the corner of the paper and then just shape it around a little pokey tool or a wooden dowel or toothpick or something to get that nice curl. I am going to add a little dimension to the back, just a 1mm foam. It still keeps things less bulky and easy to mail, but it gives that just a little bit of lift like I like. And we're just going to place down that sentiment. And I just like how it like pops just a little bit beyond the mat. So it just like gives a little bit more interest to the card. Now it is time to embellish. I'm pulling out some sparkly enamel dots and I'm going to add those just in a group of 3. And I just really like how that completed the triangle there. That's like really pleasing to the eye and just kind of finishes off the card really well. One thing I think that we can add here is just some glossy accents on those little raindrops on the umbrella ephemera. And I just love how this just adds just a hint of texture and makes those raindrops really stand out. So there we have our finished card. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I hope you were inspired. If you were, be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe if you want more inspiration with Not Too Shabby supplies. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.